Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Putt.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Josh Poed with you here, and well, this is the 400th time you're hearing my voice coming at you. I've been here each and every time, and man, we're moving right along. It just seems like the other day when we started, and here we are, our 400th show. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned a lot from what's going on, what we're presenting. Things are kind of intensifying in the world, and I will be here continuing to bring you news and information as I have been the past 400 shows. All right, so let's catch you up to date with All right, and that makes all the difference in the world. I know that those out here watching weren't hearing. I'm going to do it one more time. Red Electric Skywalker, Guided by the Earth. Red, Initiation, Electric Tone. Tone number 3, Tone of Activation. The Earth, or the Skywalker, symbol number 13. It's about space and exploration, and the guide is the Red Earth, or Synchronicity and Navigation. Altogether, today's phrase is I activate in order to explore, bonding wakefulness. I seal the input of space with the electric tone of service. I am guided by the power of navigation. And on the Gregorian calendar it is Friday, May 6, 2011. If it's your birthday out there today, happy birthday to you. Hope you have a great day, whatever it is you're going to be doing. We have a lot of information on this show we're going to bring your way. Most definitely we're going to keep you up to date on what's going on in New Madrid. If you've been listening to this show and you've been on the internet, you know what's going on in New Madrid. You've heard it. If you're watching the mainstream news, strangely enough, all of the mainstream media channels that I've flipped through are completely silent about what's going on in the Midwest. I don't know why that is. It's very, very bizarre because something big is going on and they're not even reporting it. I am. The internet is. Stay tuned. I'm going to make sure you get that information. In the meantime, Dirk Bradshaw has the latest news and information for today, entitled CNN, What Do We Mean, Universe? Here we go. Dirk, over to you.
Next up on the Cosmic News Network, the Cosmic News with Dirk Bradshaw.
Hey, it's Johnny B. Free for Free at LA.com, your source for everything free in Los Angeles. And when I say source, I mean over 3,000 things to do free in the City of Angels, from concerts to comedy clubs to free dinners, free everything. You can't beat free. That's why you need to go to freeinla.com. Take it from me, Johnny B. Free.
Flying high above the planet Earth, this
is the Cosmic News with Dirk Bradshaw. Brought to you by CosmicNewsNetwork.com. Hey there, boys and girls. It is time to get your daily dose of the Cosmic News with Dirk Bradshaw. Lucky for you, Dr. Dirk is in. Tonight, we are going to be talking to my old pal, legendary scientist, David Dutch. He's the guy who wrote the 1997 book, The Fabric of Reality, in which he detailed his theory of everything. That's right, this guy came up with the theory of everything. Tonight, he puts his theoretical physics on the back burner to discuss what he considers a more urgent matter, the survival of your species. And what do you minuscule humans really mean to the rest of the universe? That is tonight on the Cosmic News. Stay tuned, or you won't know this stuff.
The planet Earth, or the solar system, or our environment, or whatever, is uniquely suited to sustain our evolution, or creation as it used to be thought, and our present existence, and most important, our future survival. And nowadays this idea has a dramatic name, Spaceship Earth. And the idea there is that outside the spaceship, the universe is implacably hostile. And inside is all we have, all we depend on. And we only get the one chance. If we mess up our spaceship, we've got nowhere else to go. Now, the second thing that everyone already knows is that, contrary to what was believed for most of human history, human beings are not, in fact, the hub of existence. As Stephen Hawking famously said, we're just a chemical scum on the surface of a typical planet that's in orbit around a typical star, which is on the outskirts of a typical galaxy, and so on. Now, the first of those two things that everyone knows is kind of saying that we're at a very untypical place, uniquely suited, and so on. And the second one is saying that we're at a typical place, and especially if you regard these two as deep truths to live by and to inform your life decisions, then they seem a little bit to conflict with each other. But that doesn't prevent them from both being completely false. And they are. So let me start with the second one, typical. Well, is this a typical place? Well, let's look around, look in a random direction, and we see a wall and chemical scum, and that's not typical of the universe at all. All you've got to do is go a few hundred miles in that same direction and look back, and you won't see any walls or chemical scum at all. All you see is a blue planet. And if you go further than that, you'll see the sun, the solar system, and the stars, and so on. But that's still not typical of the universe, because stars come in galaxies. And most places in the universe, a typical place in the universe, is nowhere near any galaxy. So let's go out further till we're outside the galaxy and look back, and yeah, there's the huge galaxy with spiral arms laid out in front of us. And at this point, we've come 100,000 light years from here. But we're still nowhere near a typical place in the universe. To get to a typical place, you've got to go 1,000 times as far as that into intergalactic space. And so what does that look like? What does a typical place in the universe look like? Well, at enormous expense, TED has arranged a high-resolution immersion virtual reality rendering of intergalactic space, the view from intergalactic space. So can we have the lights off, please, so we can see it? Well, not quite perfect. You see, in intergalactic space is completely dark, pitch dark. It's so dark that if you were to be looking at the nearest star to you, and that star were to explode as a supernova, and you were to be staring directly at it at the moment when its light reached you, you still wouldn't be able to see even a glimmer. That's how big and how dark the universe is. And that's despite the fact that a supernova is so bright, so brilliant an event, that it would kill you stone dead at a range of several light years. And yet, from intergalactic space, it's so far away, you wouldn't even see it. It's also very cold out there, less than 3 degrees above absolute zero. And it's very empty. The vacuum there is 1,000,000 times less dense than the highest vacuum that our best technology on Earth can currently create. So that's how different a typical place is from this place. And that is how untypical this place is. So can we have the lights back on, please? Thank you. Now, how do we know about an environment that's so alien from anything we're used to? Well, the Earth, our environment in the form of us, is creating knowledge. Well, what does that mean? Well, look out even further than we've just been, I mean from here with the telescope, and you'll see things that look like stars. They're called quasars. Quasars originally meant quasi-stellar object, which means things that look a bit like stars. But they're not stars, and we know what they are. Billions of years ago and billions of light years away, the material at the center of a galaxy collapsed towards a supermassive black hole, and then intense magnetic fields directed some of the energy of that gravitational collapse and some of the matter back out in the form of tremendous jets which illuminated lobes with the brilliance of, I think it's 1 trillion suns. Now, the physics of the human brain could hardly be more unlike the physics of such a jet. We couldn't survive for an instant in it. Language breaks down when trying to describe what it would be like in one of those jets. It would be a bit like experiencing a supernova explosion, but at point-blank range and for millions of years at a time. And yet, that jet happened in precisely such a way that billions of years later, on the other side of the universe, some bit of chemical scum could accurately describe and model and predict and explain, above all, there's your reference, what was happening there in reality. The one physical system, the brain, contains an accurate working model of the other, the quasar. Not just a superficial image of it, though it contains that as well, but an explanatory model embodying the same mathematical relationships and the same causal structure. Now that is knowledge. And if that weren't amazing enough, the faithfulness with which the one structure resembles the other is increasing with time. That is the growth of knowledge. So the laws of physics have this special property, that physical objects, as unlike each other as they could possibly be, can nevertheless embody the same mathematical and causal structure, and to do it more and more so over time. So we are a chemical scum that is different. This chemical scum has universality. Its structure contains, with ever-increasing precision, the structure of everything. This place, and not other places in the universe, is a hub which contains within itself the structural and causal essence of the whole of the rest of physical reality. And so far from being insignificant, the fact that the laws of physics allow this, or even mandate that this can happen, is one of the most important things about the physical world. Now, how does the solar system, in our environment, in the form of us, acquire this special relationship with the rest of the universe? Well, one thing that's true about Stephen Hawking's remark, I mean, it is true, but it's the wrong emphasis. One thing that's true about it is that it doesn't do it with any special physics. There's no special dispensation, no miracles involved. It does it simply with three things that we have here in abundance. One of them is matter, because, well, the growth of knowledge is a form of information processing. Information processing is computation. Computation requires a computer. There's no known way of making a computer without matter. We also need energy to make the computer, and most important, to make the media, in effect, on which we record the knowledge that we discover. And then, thirdly, less tangible, but just as essential for the open-ended creation of knowledge, of explanations, is evidence. Now, our environment is inundated with evidence. We happen to get round to testing, let's say, Newton's law of gravity about 300 years ago. But the evidence that we used to do that was falling down on every square meter of the Earth for billions of years before that, and will continue to fall for billions of years afterwards. And the same is true for all the other sciences. As far as we know, evidence to discover the most fundamental truth of all the sciences is here just for the taking, on our planet. Our location is saturated with evidence and also with matter and energy. Out in intergalactic space, those three prerequisites for the open-ended creation of knowledge are at their lowest possible supply. As I said, it's empty, it's cold, and it's dark out there. Or is it? Now, actually, that's just another parochial misconception. Because imagine a cube out there in intergalactic space, the same size as our home, the solar system. Now, that cube is very empty by human standards, but that still means that it contains over 1 million tons of matter. And 1 million tons is enough to make, say, a self-contained space station on which there's a colony of scientists that are devoted to creating an open-ended stream of knowledge, and so on. Now, it's way beyond present technology to even gather the hydrogen from intergalactic space and form it into other elements and so on, but the thing is, in a comprehensible universe, if something isn't forbidden by the laws of physics, then what could possibly prevent us from doing it other than knowing how? In other words, it's a matter of knowledge, not resources. And the same, well, if we could do that, we'd automatically have an energy supply, because this transmutation would be a fusion reactor. And evidence, well, again, it's dark out there to human senses, but all you've got to do is take a telescope, even one of present-day design, look out and you'll see the same galaxies as we do from here. And with a more powerful telescope, you'll be able to see stars and planets in those galaxies. You'll be able to do astrophysics and learn the laws of physics. And locally there, you could build particle accelerators and learn elementary particle physics and chemistry and so on. Probably the hardest science to do would be biology field trips, because it would take several 100 million years to get to the nearest life-bearing planet and back. But I have to tell you, and sorry, Richard, but I never did like biology field trips much. And I think we can just about make do with one every few 100 million years. So, in fact, intergalactic space does contain all the prerequisites for the open-ended creation of knowledge. Any such cube anywhere in the universe could become the same kind of hub that we are, if the knowledge of how to do so were present there.
Can't believe it's over. Where does the time go? Well, I see the fat lady's off the stage. She's looking right at me. It's time for me to go put her to bed.
I hate goodbyes. So instead I'm going to say, until we meet again, I'm Dirk Bradshaw for the Cosmic News. Wake up.
Some of the greatest crimes against this nation. Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of people.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw a UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing. What they're losing from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, big brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. One if by land and two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth. ET phones Thailand and picks up the tab for the call. This is the UFO news. Everybody from fund managers to jet-setting diplomats is talking about the world's center of gravity shifting to Asia. Now, extraterrestrials appear to be taking notice too. Trackers in Colorado at the Mutual UFO Network, one of the oldest unidentified flying research organizations in the world, say that since the slump of the Western banking system in 2008, UFO sightings among Asia's fastest growing economies have accelerated. Suspicious UFOs have shut down airports in China, buzzed resorts in Borneo, and lit up the night sky in Myanmar. All of that is dealing with a fresh blow to the prestige of the United States, which, as DreamWorks' animated movie Monsters vs. Aliens observe, is the only country aliens seem to visit. It's not surprising, really, says Debon Magavon, a 75-year-old Harvard-educated physician and one of Thailand's leading UFO investigators. Aliens have been coming to Asia for decades, but now they sense a change. That is why the progressive countries are so they are coming here much more often now. Extraterrestrials first hit the public imagination in a big way in Thailand in 2006 when villagers in a rural northeast found discarded fever-cooling gel packs and mistook them for visitors from outer space. One woman told local newspapers she cooked a gel pack and served it to her children in the hope that it would make them more intelligent. In Nakhon Sawan province, 160 miles north of Bangkok, scores of UFO enthusiasts now regularly camp out on a hill known as Kaiokala, which they regard as the kind of Stargate to another dimension. It's a diverse group, including medical students, interior decorators, soap opera actor who goes by the name Pete. On a recent evening, devotees wearing necklaces depicting alien portraits trooped up to the top of a hill to harness the extraterrestrial energy and treat illness by laying on hands or to meditate before the statue of Buddha. Periodically, people jumped up with video cameras when plans or other less obvious light sources appeared before settling in for a night of chant. The aliens have been coming here to Keokaila for at least 10 years, said Duzdi Prasomsuk, 39 years old. When we meditate, we can understand what they are trying to tell us. We feel that through our bodies, and we understand. Regardless of whether aliens exist, a slew of sightings is providing yet another measurement of how the world is changing as Asia becomes wealthier and more successful. Seth Shostak, senior astronomer at the SETI Institute in California, uses radio telescopes and other advanced equipment to scout the universe for signs of intelligent life. He reckons the growth of Asia economies is one of the primary factors contributing to more than UFO sightings. I ascribe this simply to two things. He says, the great reach of the TV, which means more people have televisions dealing with UFOs, and the widespread availability of the internet, which allows people who would formerly describe strange sightings to their neighbors to now send them to me in email. Dr. Deboram in Thailand, for instance, says he first saw UFO in New Hampshire when he was training to become a doctor in the 50s. When he returned to Thailand, he heard about many more sightings as the country went through its economic boom in the 80s and the 90s, and media networks expanded to include cable TV and more recently the internet. Still, these aren't American-style alien encounters. The aliens that Thai researchers say they have encountered bear little resemblance to the typical creatures depicted in Hollywood films, which have included resource-grabbing monsters or eerily calm, environmentally friendly creatures. The aliens that allegedly visit Southeast Asia tend to have a rather different view of the universe, following Buddhist precepts such as reincarnation, greeting one another by cupping their hands together in the shape of the lotus flower. After years of trying, Dr. Deb Hoam says he finally made contact with bona fide aliens one morning at 2 a.m. in 1996. Surprisingly, he recalls he called them on the phone using an ordinary landline. They said they were from Mars and spoke a strange version of Thai. They also said not to worry about the phone bill. Dr. Deboram recalls since then he reports that aliens have contacted him with warnings about where they will appear, enabling him and other researchers to report a series of UFO sightings. Their conclusions: aliens are typically slightly taller than humans, communicate telepathically, and sometimes are accompanied by pets resembling hairless dogs. One of the alien visitors, calling itself Kai, the word Thai word for chicken, often visits to warn of natural disasters such as the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami or political upheavals that could affect Thailand's economic progress. Dr. Debhoem says Kai previously presented himself as Eddie to U.S. authorities at Area 51, the famously secretive U.S. military base in Nevada, where he told officials in the former Soviet Union to call him Ivan. Other researchers have gone further. Several members of the Chansamian family in Nakhon Sawan province said they have managed to communicate with aliens telepathically. It began with Chur Chashaman, an army sergeant who used to go into a trance and then speaking and issuing commands in a strange altered voice. The air began crackling, says Saisak Patman Tamasan, 39 years old, a member of the Kaukala group who once attended one of Sergeant Churd's attempts to communicate with extraterrestrial beings. Then the alien voice spoke to us through Sergeant Chard and told us he was there to help human beings reach the next level of development. Sergeant Chard has since died, and his mission is now pursued by 3 daughters. One of them, Wasana Chansamunumen, a 38-year-old nurse. She says, too, is able to enter a trance, receive messages from otherworldly entities. Says Miss Wasana, everybody can develop this ability. Well, that's quite a big story. Maybe they're picking up more ETs over there because they're not making movies about shooting at them. Think about that. If you were in a spaceship and you were up there and you kept seeing that the beings down there in that part of the world were making movies about shooting you, would you want to go down there? I don't think so. Think about driving through a neighborhood where you hear it's pretty bad. You just drive into that neighborhood knowing that you're possibly going to get caught in some kind of crossfire? No, you're not. Right? So that's what's going on. We have a story at the Examiner. Lights over California splits into 3 lights as witness observe. And if you go over to the latest UFOsightings.net, we got a number of others, including sightings in Fresno, Sardinia Island, so on and so forth. And that, my friends, dear Earthlings, well, that is our UFO news for today. Jump to a song. I will be right back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Underground is where they live, in the bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lies? Plausible deniability. That's their answer to all we think we see. So pay attention, read between the lines. Changes are happening, revealing lies. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lies? Underground is where they live, in the bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lies? I can neither confirm or deny. They can neither confirm or deny. It's time for them, confirm or deny. No more.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Josh Poet. So, the world's getting crazy out there, folks. It's getting really crazy. Every day, I flip to the news channels, and I go through the mainstream news, and I want to see what they're saying. And then, just to kind of test the theory, after hearing what the mainstream news is saying, I will call people that I know that just watch the mainstream news, and I will listen to them parrot back to me exactly what they were told on the news. Exactly, word for word. And I will know, going into that conversation, the way in which they're going to portray or view anything that I have to say, because the mainstream news has already painted me out to them to be a wacko, because I'm going to be talking against the theories that are the ones that the government wants to give. And it's pretty sad. And I have to wonder when I watch the news, who are those news shows really made for? Are there really that many people in the world that are watching the mainstream news that are not thinking or seeing anything else? Are there really that many? There's a major problem going on in the Midwest right now, and it is not being reported by any of the mainstream television shows. None of them. None of them. Fox did not talk at all yesterday when I was through there about what's going on over in the Midwest. No report from Fox. Nothing from CNN. Nothing from MSNBC. Nothing, as if it didn't exist. But let me show you this, folks. And I say I got Dirk on the line here. I'm going to jump to him in a minute. I want to show you this real quick first. This is the Wonder Map, WUNDERGROUND.com. That's where you can go and you could find this. Now look at this map here. This map, and if you're looking and you're watching the web stream, you can see this behind me. If not, watch it later. This shows all of the flood alerts. And if you notice all along the Mississippi River, there's tons of flood alerts all along here. All you have to do is hold the mouse over one of these little alerts, and it will tell you how much water the river holds, how high it can get before it floods. And you will see as you go through all of these that many of these have flooded, or they are within a foot or two of flooding. You're not hearing this on the news. Why? Because there's something going on out there they don't want you to hear. They much rather have you hear about the fake bin Laden information. So let's get into this for a minute. And this is what Dirk and I... Where's Dirk? Where is he? Was there, and now he is still there. Okay, there he is. Dirk, can you hear me? Good, Dirk. How you doing today? Thanks. Yeah, less than 2 years. You too. You've been there along the journey. Well, thanks. It's important, you know. We're getting out information people need to hear. They're not hearing it elsewhere, Dirk, except here and other internet places. Right? It does. You know what? Here, not the watered down stuff. Here's something really interesting, Dirk, and maybe you've experienced it. I know I have many a times. People know what's going on. They know that there's a problem because many times I've heard people meant to say Bin Laden and they say Barack Obama. And they switch them back and forth. That's something that's going on in your subconscious. People already know that these two have more connections than they're told. That's why they're mixing it up. Right. Yeah, it's subconscious. People know. People know that something's not right. People associate these two together because Obama is just as much a terrorist, if not more, than Bin Laden. Because Osama, because the guy here, like the guy over there, is causing just as much trouble, if not more. Now, right? Well, but here's the thing. Over and over and over again, this is frustrating. The news is out there. Osama bin Laden has been dead and reported dead since 2001. They're telling this story, and I can't tell you how many times I've been in a room watching this story, and people say, see, they went in with this raid. And it's like, it didn't happen. It's not real. They're lying to you. He died years ago, and they're making up a story, and people are buying it hook, line, and sinker. I don't understand. What's wrong with people? Why are they hearing that? Hmm. Right? Well, yeah, but 9/11 wasn't him. Now, okay, now I want to turn my attention away, Dirk, from these jerks in the White House because Fox is talking enough about them. I want to talk about what's important. The middle of the country right now is in major, major peril, and it's not being reported. And that's more important than what that jackass in the White House or their fake stories are about. And I hope that you agree out there, because if you're listening and you're in the Midwest, you know what's going on. You know, right? They didn't cover it, and so let's jump. Yep. Let me jump to that because we're getting down to time, and I want to make sure people understand this information. I mean, what's talked about out there on the internet. All you got to do, folks, go to Google, go to YouTube, put in New Madrid earthquake. When it comes to the filters, look for the latest things that are there, the things from today. And you're going to start finding stuff that's talking about false flag taking place in New Madrid. A false flag is when they pretend there's a terrorist activity. What's being thought about, and this is horrific to think about, but what is being considered and talked about the internet is the possibility that the earthquake may be triggered as a false flag event in order to put more security measures on people in this country, to get you to believe that another country attacked us. And over the course of the weeks, they've been planting these seeds to the point where now there's this concern, and this is really going on. I'm going to play a clip here. Dirk, you're going to hang here. I'm going to play this clip. I want you to hear this too. All right. This is... Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, let's see here. Hold on. It was just here. Where is it? This was... all right. Here we go. It's just a short clip. But listen to this. This is...
just occurred to me. Got some information. May 2nd at 9 p.m. They've blown away a levee that sits on the New Madrid fault line, which means it's going to flood, and the fault line is going to cause an earthquake. So if you go online, you can look at the seismic zone, the maps, and you can see this. The weight of the water coming down on the fault is going to trigger this thing, and they're flooding about 130,000 acres. And the water will also work like as a lubrication to loosen the fault. I want to give you a resource to check out too, vaticproject.blogspot.com. That's VATIC project.blogspot.com. I know back in February there was a 3.5 earthquake by the Salt Dome area in the Panhandle of Florida. Florida's where I'm broadcasting to you right now from. That was also near the BP oil crisis area. Also keep in mind that we have these three brown dwarf stars or comets heading this way, Elenin, Honda, and Levi. We also know that early this year the government was messing with that HARP program, and those birds fell dead right around the Madrid fault line area. They can triangulate this thing with the HARP project, and it looks like that's what they've been doing with it, so they're definitely anticipating this. You can also go onto the FEMA website and type in New Madrid Fault. I'm doing a radio show now on blogtalkradio.com. You can check me out there. It's Will ZPI. I just want you guys to be aware of this. Also, with the Japan crisis and what's going to be happening, looks like pretty soon here in central United States, because of all the nuclear power plants there, they're going to be, the Earth is going to be, it's being radiated now. It's going to be even more radiated. I do have a limited supply of liquid form potassium iodine and some mild silver protein. You may want to get that. It's very hard to find right now. I can get it out to you for about $25, including the shipping. If you're interested in that, just write me willzpi@yahoo.com. I've been up really late, putting a lot of hours and studying into this. I'm going to be putting probably 2 to 4 shows a day on, so I can target different listeners to get this information out. Again, I'm on blogtalkradio.com. It's Will ZPI, and it looks like we need to prepare for this thing. So God bless you guys that are there. I recommend trying to make some arrangements now. FEMA and the military have been planning, militarizing the areas and stuff there. So it looks like it's going to happen. Something's going to happen this year with that, probably pretty soon. So God bless you guys, and like I said, willzpi@yahoo.com.
All right, willzpi@yahoo.com. So you're not hearing that in the mainstream. They're ignoring it for some reason. Dirk, you still with me?
I am, and that is the wag of the dog right there. You want to know, ladies and gentlemen, why they want us to pay attention to this Bin Laden, and even the birth certificate. I'm going to go as far as to say all that's wag the dog. It's because they're doing stuff like this on their own country, and you question. I think the number one question I hear all the time is, why would America do this to themselves? Why would they do this? Well, it's pretty obvious why they would do it to themselves. There's population problems that we're having. Most importantly, security, as you were mentioning earlier. One of the best ways to raise money is security.
Well, that's what the wars break money. That's kind of the whole way it works.
If Osama bin Laden did do 9/11, his agenda was to bankrupt us. That was that.
Right, but we all know that it did. We all know that didn't happen.
Nonetheless, my point is, we want to ignore our physical problems. We need to ignore certain things. And the best way to do that is a natural disaster here in the United States. Millions of casualties.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people dead. That will keep people. But in order to do that, they have to practice this. And in order to practice this, they have to hold these kind of tests. And they can't have anyone paying attention to it.
Right.
So let's have the entire world focus over here on this Bin Laden, who's been dead for 5 years. It was a gift given to Obama by Bush to know that he was dead already. Use this card anytime you need to really use this card, and he's using this card. And the fact that he's using this card should
Oh, absolutely. Is to keep people's attention away from what's really going on in the world. And I'm telling you, my whole take on things now is Obama truly is the Antichrist. And I've spent enough time growing up in life being told that the Bible is the book that we're supposed to read and that we're supposed to listen to the words of Jesus. I, like many others, have been told that over and over and over again, to the point that if I see and I understand that there's something in the Bible that Jesus says, I'm now going to take it very serious. And I'm going to take it that if he said that, then there's some reason. There's a reason why him saying Satan as lightning from the heights and how that translates into Barack Obama, there is a reason why that's there. It's not just a strange coincidence, folks. It's not just any old book. It's the Bible. And it's the Bible that is in a passage from Jesus. We need to pay attention because maybe God is speaking loud and clear right now that the Antichrist is here and is affecting things. And as long as people keep believing that, guess what? You're on the side with the Antichrist. You're on the wrong side. So I wholeheartedly believe that that's what's going on there, Dirk. And
I know. Well, I'm an alien, so I've never read the Bible. I should have. I think I probably would be a little bit heads up on all of this stuff. But even where I've come from and the places that I've seen in this life, I have seen a dozen people like this person who's in power, and I've seen what people like this in power have been able to do. And I keep this warning: it never is a good thing.
Never is a good thing. That's right. Very good, Dirk. Well, thanks for calling in. Very good. Thanks. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.
You too.
All right. That was Dirk Bradshaw. So yeah, folks, it's pay attention this weekend to what's going on in the Midwest. Google. It's a good source. YouTube. It's a good source. Just put in New Madrid earthquake. That's all you have to do. Do a search. You got the filter options on the left and you got the options on the right. Do the filter options. Look for the videos that were uploaded today. On the right hand side, get the relevance of the ones by the date count. That way you see the videos that are coming up, the most recent ones. There's continually videos being put up and information being put up. There's a major problem happening in the Midwest. I would suggest that you get on the internet and you find out what's going on and you decide for yourself whether or not you want to be there or whether this is a time to get out of Dodge for a while. Between the 16th and the 20th of the month, FEMA is going to be conducting this next phase of exercise, and there's military supposedly from Canada coming down, as well as a number of other things that are part of their exercise. When FEMA does exercises, things happen to confirm the exercise that they are doing. All of this flooding, though it had rained, all of this flooding hadn't escalated to this next level that it's at now until after FEMA arrived. With those who have ears, let them hear. With those who have eyes, let them see. The information is there. I don't know how to make things any more clearer to you, but you need to pay attention because they're lying to you in the White House. They're lying to you. Obama is the great deceiver. He's the great deceiver who wants to fool you into believing that what he says and the way he's doing things is the proper way. But let me ask you this. Let's say Obama really isn't from America. Let's say he was brought up with ideals of a Muslim nation or of a nation that was doing terrorist activities. Because the Muslim nation isn't all about terrorist activities, but certainly what he was involved with. Let's say Obama truly is a CIA asset and did help set up the Taliban, as Pastor Manning brought that evidence forward. Let's say these things are true. Guess what? There's a man in the office that doesn't have the best intents for this country, and there's a lot of people that are defending him. Everyone who's defending this man who is potentially not a U.S. citizen, potentially not a natural-born citizen, for everyone who is defending that, if indeed it proves to be true that he is not what he says he is, then all of you have been fooled, and all of you are supporting a terrorist. Is that what it's come down to with our government, with our world, that we support these criminals? It certainly seems like it. This is not a good situation. The president before wasn't a good situation. The one before that wasn't a good situation. We shouldn't have to deal with devils in our office, but we do. These are the times we're in. This is what the book of Revelation and other prophecy talks about. We need to be vigilant, but we need to be vigilant and on guard because the evil terrorists in the government are causing problems. And right now they want to cause a bigger problem in the Midwest than what's already going on. And what's going on, by the evidence that's being presented, has already escalated to the level it is because of them. Now you can either listen to what I'm saying, you can dismiss it as being complete nonsense, or you can understand that there's a problem. Because if there's a problem and what I'm saying is true, well, see, today's the 6th. 10 days from now is the 16th. In 10 days from now, there could possibly be a major earthquake in the Midwest area. And according to the Navy maps that are out there, the middle of the country is gone, underwater. 10 days from now is when their exercises begin, folks. 10 days from now. That's not a lot of time. And if this stuff is true and 10 days from now comes along and something goes down and you have relatives in that area and you find out that millions of people died by something that occurred that was pre-planned, well, you're going to feel a bit upset and you're going to feel like, why didn't I do something sooner? Well, now is the time, folks. The drills start on the 16th. Pay attention. Do your research. We are in the times that the book of Revelation talks about. These definitely are the end times. Is the rapture on the 21st? Is that the beginning of the judgment, as is talked about? Well, events are certainly falling into place that it might seem that there is some reality to that. We'll find out soon enough, because the 21st isn't too far away either. We're talking we're talking what? 15 days? 15 days from now. So in the next 10 to 15 days, folks, hold on. You're in for quite a ride the next 10 to 15 days. We'll see where it goes from then. Let's get through these first. Now, what I'd like to do to end up the show is I'd like everybody just to close your eyes, relax. I want you to simply imagine in your mind's eye what it is you'd like to accomplish today. What it is you'd like to do to wrap up your week. I want you to imagine that. I want you to imagine seeing yourself and being around others today. And as you're around others, I want you to see that imagine smooth communications. I want you to imagine a ease of information passing from one person to another. And now I want you to just simply imagine that right where you are, you're sending a beam of love from your heart all around the world. And I want you to imagine others feeling that love and sending the love out as well. All around the world. And send this love down into the earth, because the earth is in pain and needs our help. Send it down there and just think good thoughts. Bring your energy and attention back. I hope you have a great day today. I hope you have a great weekend. I know that life is serious and intense right now. It requires your full participation and attention. Because if you do not participate and you only sit by and watch, you may see some things happening that are not going to make you very happy. So get involved. Do something. Have a great weekend, folks. Do your research. FirstContactRadio.com. I'll be back on Monday with Dirk for our 401st show. Thanks for being here the last 400. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.